The following is a presentation of Muddy River News.
Welcome to Muddy River News this week. I'm Bob Goff. My guest today is Todd Hastings. He is the president of Hope House. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I gotta be honest, I'd never heard of Hope House before your issue came before the Quincy Plan Commission. How long have you been around?
Well, we have been around for about 4 years, actually, and started about 4 years ago through my wife's work with Birthright here in Quincy. We began to see the need, many young ladies coming in pregnant and facing homelessness, some of them choosing to terminate their pregnancy simply because they didn't have any place to go. And so we made a decision to pursue a home for them, and basically it's been 4 years of raising funds to get there and build our team. It's been more than raising money, a lot of research and building our team, putting people together.
And you found a location you liked on Jefferson Street that you need to get a zoning variance, for lack of a better term, permit, whatever you call it. It depends on your terminology. Sure. And the Plan Commission has recommended that not go through, but it goes through the Quincy City Council anyway with their recommendation. So. And that is going to take place Monday, correct?
That'll take place Monday. It'll take a supermajority, which I'm told is 10 of 14 councilmen, I believe, have to buck the recommendation of the planning
because
commission.
It was against
because of the recommendation of the planning commission, which we understand. There's opposition to it, and I understand that the planning commission was very good to us and helped us through that process. I have no complaints there. Not even complaining about the neighbors. I'd like for them to understand what we're trying to do, and I think if they could really understand the end game and what we're trying to do, they'd see, I think we're going to be a great asset to that neighborhood. I really do.
That's why you're on here. The floor is yours. Why would you be an asset to the Jefferson Street area with Hope House?
Yeah, well, first of all, let me say that house is perfect for what we want to do. It's got great big bedrooms, lots of room, beautiful yard, off-street parking. You can get 8 to 10 cars off-street parking there. The neighbors said this is a very close-knit, family-oriented neighborhood. That's exactly why we want to be there. We want to take in young ladies. This is not a shelter. This is not an emergency center. This is a home. We want to take these young ladies in. We ask them up front for a 1-year commitment. But in the end, they may be there 2 years. If they're trying to get an education, they could be there 3. They could be there up to 4 years. As long as they need us to get on their feet, we're going to be with them. And so that house works well because of its location, because of what it is. It's a beautiful home. We've looked at places where we have the right zoning. We wouldn't have to go through this with the zoning, but most of those houses are run down. Security is often an issue. They're in high crime areas. We're trying to get these young ladies into a position where they can really dream about what their future can be and not make them feel like they're condemned with the leftovers in life, I guess would be a good way to say it. And I believe it would be good for the neighborhood because these girls, it would be very young ladies. Somebody told me, quit calling them girls. These are adults.
Well,
sorry.
You're our age. That's kind of what you do. So
everybody looks like a girl when you're my age. So, but anyway, it is. It will be tightly regulated. There is, I can't remember. My wife knows exactly, but there is a multiple, maybe 17-page application to get into the home. I mean, we're very strict about who we will let into the home. Then there are very strict rules about being in the home. There are very strict guidelines about what takes place in the home. We control access to that home. We'll have security cameras around the outside of the home so we always know who's coming and going. We are committed to that neighborhood. One of the things I would like to say to those that are in opposition is we really can't control who our neighbors are. Anybody could move into that home.
Sure.
Bottom line is that home's been on the market for a long time. It's got hail damage on the roof. It had a white water pipe burst, and it's in a trust, and they don't want to fix it. It's just sitting there. I had a friend of mine that him and his wife tried to buy the home, and the bank wouldn't loan them the money. The longer that home sits, the worse it's going to become. Now, they keep it very well now. The outside looks very good. We're committed. We're committed to coming in and fixing everything in that home. We've got what could cost others a lot of money. We've got people that want to come alongside us and help us. We've got a quote on the roof. One of our board members' grandson has a roofing company. They've given us a very good quote on it. We have a maintenance team that is committed to keeping that home in tip-top shape. And while I understand why they're leery about the idea of 4 people coming in and 4 different families living there, but they know what they're getting with us. And, you know, I've sent out a letter to the neighbors, and every one of them has my phone number. If we were to get approved for this, I would resend that and make sure every neighbor has my phone number and can contact me with any of the concerns that they have at any time. We modeled this home. We found a home down in Rolla, Missouri. She has been they've been open for about 13 years, I believe it is now. In 13 years, they've never had a single issue with the residents, not one. Now, none of us can guarantee that there's never going to be an issue, but anybody could move into that home and you could have issues. But 13 years, when they first got it, they didn't need zoning approval. It's in a very nice subdivision. But they had a lot of opposition, so they invited all the neighbors in to show them what they were doing. And the neighbors wound up being very supportive. Today, many of the neighbors are financial supporters of their ministry and also give not a complaint from anybody. So we just believe that in the end, we really will be an asset to that neighborhood because we're committed to it. I understand their heart. There was a previous maternity and home in town, Madonna House, that did a world of good. But in the end, there were some issues there, and those rumors fly. And so everybody in town is a little leery, and they're concerned that this is going to turn into some sort of zoo. We're committed to that not happening. We have very strict guidelines for the girls. To be real honest with you, I think when we're open, whether it's here or somewhere else, when we actually open, I think that our more complaints are going to come from the other side, of the issue, and that I think there's going to be people who think we're too restrictive about who will let in the home. Mm-hmm. That's hard on me. I'm a pastor. I don't want to tell anybody, though. So I told them they had to take me out of the admissions process. Because you know what? We could help. Maybe we could keep people warm and dry short term and help a lot more people. But we don't want to help them short term. We want to help them build a life, and we want to help them build a future, and we want them to be there as long as it takes. It's free to live there, but every girl will be required to save, possibly as much. We haven't decided on that. The home in Rolla requires that they save 50% of their income. Many of the young ladies in Rolla, by the time they leave that home, they have enough money saved for a down payment on their own home. They get financial training. We put them through Financial Peace University. We do parenting classes. We do, we're a Christ-centered organization. So while it'll never be a requirement, you can't believe what I believe to get in this house. That would be silly. That's not how Jesus operated. But we'll never hide the fact of who we are either. And we'll lay a strong biblical foundation under these girls and help them find the future. So I really do believe that it will be an asset. Like I say, we are very committed to making this work. One of the neighbors to our church where I pastor called me last week, and I used to work with her, and her sister lives next door, and she had concerns and knew me, so she called me and we had a good talk. And I just told her, I said, look, we can't make guarantees. No. But you got to know this, you're not going to get a neighbor more committed to this house being a good neighbor.
Which church are you pastor of?
I pastor at Bethel Assembly of God, which is just down the street from the home. So it is, it won't. It's all about admission and who we let into that home and how strict they're going to be when they're there. If it turned into the nightmare that people are afraid of is, we would shut it down. I don't want to get woke up every night at 3 a.m. and have to run over and solve those problems.
You're not going to live there.
I'm not going to live.
You're going to have an administrator, supervisor, somebody who will be on site.
We will have during the day. Nobody is going to live in the home. Our administrator will actually work. There's a small office in the garage, and they'll do administrative tasks back there. And they will be either the administrator or my wife, who is the director. We'll go through that house every day to check and make sure that, it's a girls got to make their beds every day. The house has to be spotless every day, and all of those things have to be taken care of. So it'll be inspected every day. Drugs and alcohol, we have the right when they go in to inspect their property at any time. We don't worry too much about that because the other girls tend to tell.
They'll police themselves.
They don't want that in their home.
Right.
When they come in, you're people who are committed to the future. And so if one is out of line, this is what Jane tells me in Rolla. She says, if one's out of line, you'll hear about it. You'll hear about it quick because they're worried about their own children and their own.
Of course, the proximity, you're right across from Adams School.
Yes.
And, what used to be Adams School. Now it is the Olmus Academy, and also it has some other small businesses and what have you in there. So I guess that when I look at it, and zoning is just always such a. If you were on the other side of the street, would you be able to just put it in there?
It's down a block.
Okay.
Adams School is down one block from there. And I'm not sure what the zoning for that is. I don't think we need R3 zoning.
Sure.
So it might be a little bit different from that. It would probably be a little easier.
Sure. Well, it's just like I said, with any time you're dealing with this sort of thing, and again, it's not like you want to put another gaming parlor in, or it's not like you want to run. You are running I hesitate to call it a business. This is a mission that you're doing here. So, but there are rules that need to be followed. But also, I think that if you can look in the letter of the law or the letter of those zoning rules, it's like this is something that I believe it would be a positive for the neighborhood. And if I was a neighbor, and if you wanted to put it in the house across the street from me. I just don't see what the issues would be because you have seemed very open. You were at the meeting the other night, according to our reporter, and your cards are on the table. You just want to say, this is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help these young ladies. I said it for you. Help these young ladies give them a future. Yeah. Give them something to stand on until they can stand on their own 2 feet. So. Again, when you're talking about Christian ministry, this is what Christian ministry is all about.
This is what it is. One of the greatest complaints for maybe Christians in general, but certainly the pro-life crowd is we're pro-birth. We only care till they're born.
That's absolutely
Unfortunately,
correct.
Sometimes it's true.
And it is unfortunately true because, again, I understand that when you do that, and it's like, we fight so hard for the unborn, and I know one of the aldermen, the 6th Ward alderman, Jake Reed, is very active. I mean, he's either the head of or on the board of Adams County Right to Life. I know he supports your mission, but it's like you have to, again, now that you get them out of the womb, let's not just forget about them.
There needs to be a future.
And that sounds exactly what you're doing here. It's like, yes, you're pro-life, but you're also, we're trying to help these mothers.
It's interesting. I was talking to Jake on the phone yesterday, and Jake said one of the things that has been very positive for him in the midst of this, and it kind of showed up with the article that you all wrote about it, the planning meeting, was that this has brought both sides together. I don't think, and even I have nothing negative to say about the neighbors, none. I understand their hearts. I get it totally. And I don't think anybody opposes what we're trying to do. One of the neighbors is actually my stepfather's nephew, and he came to me after he spoke up at the meeting, and he came up and he said, Tyus, I'd be happy to help you find a place, just not here. And really, that's kind of what it comes down to.
Sure.
Because, I wrote a letter to the alderman, and I said, in the end, Hope House is going to open somewhere. It's going to be in somebody's ward. It's going to be in somebody's neighborhood. And so I'm not trying to be obnoxious to the neighbors. I want them to see that this is going to be a positive thing. And so I might as well take my stand on a house that's perfect for what we're trying to do. Sure. And it's a long shot. 10 out of 14, it's hard to get people to agree on that when you're going against the recommendation. But hopefully people will see and understand our mission and what we're trying to do. I haven't met one person that opposes the mission and what we're trying to do. it's I think it'll make a huge impact. We're going to build strong families in the end. If these young ladies if the baby's father's still in the picture, he won't be in the home, but we'll work with him. We'll still work with them and prepare them. So we're very excited about it.
Well, I wish you luck, and I will be at the council meeting Monday as well, and we will see how it all shakes out. And again, it sounds like you are driven, you're committed, and Hope House, if not on Jefferson Street, Hope House will become a reality somewhere in Quincy.
It's going to happen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for now. I'm Bob Goff. We'll see you next week.
It's Muddy River TV.